Okay, welcome everyone to our Board of Education meeting. I'm Philip Deneen, President. Just want to remind everyone there's a mask mandate in our building, so I'm going to request that everyone here in the audience please put your mask on. Thank you. All right, with that said, everyone please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Everyone's aware of the emergency exits in case of an emergency, to your right and to your left. Okay. All right. We're going to start with our Islip Pride and presentations. Dr. O'Hara?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Deneen. Just like to read some of the accomplishments of our students in the Fine and Performing Arts program. We're very proud to announce the selection of 3 students selected as alternates to the All-State Honor Ensembles and 8 students to perform with the All-County Vocal Jazz Ensemble. Student musicians in the All-State Festival were selected based on their performance in the New York State School Music Association Solo and Ensemble Festival. All-County vocal jazz participants were selected through an audition process that took place last spring. These students were selected to participate from hundreds of applicants throughout Suffolk County and the state. Students prepare for their festivals with the assistance of their school music teachers and then participate in a series of rehearsals that conclude with a concert. The students will have the opportunity to work and perform under the leadership of highly skilled directors from the college music community and the professional music industry. All state performances will be during the NISMA Winter Conference, December 2nd through 5th in Rochester, New York. The All-County Vocal Jazz Ensemble will perform at the Skamia Day of Jazz, held on November 6th at East Islip High School. Working with the group this year as a conductor is American vocalist and director of Elvenel, did I say that? The music of Kimberly Hawkey. Right, thank you. We're extremely thrilled to have these remarkable student musicians representing Islip schools in the All-State and All-County festivals. Their selection is a testament to their hard work and their teacher support, stated Brian Kroll, our Director of Fine and Performing Arts for the Islip Schools. So congratulations to our students, to their teachers, and to Mr. Kroll. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. O'Hara. Okay, and just to reiterate, in case any people came in from the outside that missed my previous announcement, there is a mask mandate in the building. All masks need to be worn. All right.
Let it go tonight, and we'll broadcast our school position for future meetings.
All right. So what we'll do for tonight, we'll go through that, and then we'll.
Would you like to see my agenda?
Not tonight. You can show it to us later. All right. Okay. With that, we're going to move on to our agenda items. If there's any questions for the Board of Education on our agenda items, please raise your hand. Come to the microphone, name and address, and ask your question. It will be addressed. But prior to that, are there any questions from the Board of Education on our agenda items? Okay. Just for the audience, item 5H is going to be pulled this evening. That's temporary until next Board of Education meeting, until we have a greater quorum. Mr. Leggio is away on vacation. Mrs. Flora is still feeling down from the effects of COVID, and Mr. Clarine is at the Nassau School Board's virtual meeting that he is chairing, so he is not here tonight, and they will be present at our next Board of Ed meeting. All right, with that said, then, I'd like to get a motion for items 5A through 5F.
So moved.
So that is Mr. Bueller. Can I get a second?
Second.
That is Mr. Austin. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? and they will all carry. Okay, Mrs. Fitzgerald, will you go over the personnel schedule, please?
The one tonight, we have an appointment from the Pell and Social Studies, also a modification of appointment at the middle school, part-time appointment at the middle school in business, long-term substitute appointments, special ed and elementary press. The A1, we have permanent sub-teachers as well as per diem substitutes for this school year. The A3 is a leave of absence at high school. The A5 is the X-schedule activities, district-wide, the high school, as well as the middle school. The A13, additional duties, professional development instructors, 6-period assignments, and crew positions. The B1, non-instructional appointments include instructional aides at the wing in the middle school, a monitor at wing, teacher assistant also at the middle school, sub-food service employees, and the resignation of an IA at the high school is on the B2. B3 is leave of absence in food service and an account clerk. Finally,
Right.
B13, additional duties, instructional aides and school monitors. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Okay, we're going to move on to our public questions for the Board of Education. Again, any questions you might have, raise your hand, come to the microphone. But before we do that, I'd just like a little unfinished business. At our last Board of Education meeting, it was asked that we contact the law firm from the Save Our Schools of Islip to meet with Mr. Hamburger and the associates there. The Board of Education met with the law firm last Thursday, entire board, along with Dr. O'Hara. We met with them for over 1.5 hours long. It was a very informative meeting, very educational. They explained all the details of the lawsuit that's looking to be filed, or actually what is filed. The Emergency Powers Act granted to Governor Comodo by the state legislators, have expired. During the summer, when Governor Hochul was going to be appointed, she ordered the Department of Health to issue these regulations. The lawsuit that they're looking to file will challenge this, that it's beyond the scope of the Department of Health's authority to issue these regulations. We were informed that Massapequa and Locust Valley have signed on, and the lawsuit has already been filed with New York State. There was discussion about other districts possibly joining in a second round of this lawsuit. We asked what the interest, any other interest. We were told that there was another district that has expressed interest in a second round. They were looking for possibly 4 districts to file a second round, but we haven't heard of any other ones. Some of the questions that we asked, if the lawsuit is already filed, why do you need to file a second round? And the question was, they thought a second round might be a little bit more beneficial, but it's not going to make a difference if the lawsuit is won, because it will affect all the districts on the island. We also asked if the district was to sign on to this lawsuit, if we were going to pursue it, is there a cost to the district? They said if they were to do a second round and they had 4 districts that were willing to sign on, the cost would be $35,000 to the district to file this lawsuit. Now, if the lawsuit is filed and is won, there's also a possibility that the governor's office, Mr. Gallo, what is that? What they would,
They file a notice of appeal.
they would file a notice of appeal, and actually everything would revert back to what it is right now. We also asked
During the pendency of that appeal.
right, okay. We also asked when do they think this ruling might come out? They said sometime between November and December of this year. Let's see the rest of my notes that I had on here. So after that meeting that we had with them for 1.5 hours, asking all these questions, the lawsuit's already been filed. That we met with, their legal counsel. It was a unanimous decision that the Board of Education has decided that we're not going to look to pursue at this time a second lawsuit because it's already been filed with the state. So that decision, if it's rendered, again, will apply to all the districts, whether it's for or against that. So I just want to, again, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Just want to let you know that we did our due diligence on this, researched it, and thank you. Okay, with that said, if there's any questions from the Board of Education on the public, again, please come to the microphone, name and address, and ask your question, and we'll be glad to get the answers out to you. It's pretty quick then. All right, so if there's no, do you have one?
Nick Torrey, 2 Giblin. I appreciate you guys getting on our call because that's what we need you guys to get into that and see what they had to say. Now, my question to you is, in this application, don't you think having more districts involved would be more beneficial rather than take a back seat and just let them be the leaders?
Actually, that question was asked, and what did they say? They don't want it to be arbitrary, capricious with a lot of...
They said that they had two or three cases that they thought were precedent bearing that they were pointing to in their lawsuit. Hamburger. And that they believed that they would win on the merits of the precedent.
Right.
And they said that it would be helpful if they had more districts so that it doesn't appear that it was a fringe or extreme viewpoint. We asked how many districts would that require, and they weren't able to give an answer.
Right, that's kind of an open-ended question, I would think. I mean, I did hear that Eastport South Manor was potentially on board, and Lindenhurst as well. From our standpoint, I mean, do we want to just be back seat and wait and see, or do we want to be leaders and prove what's right in the eyes of proper government? I mean, you guys taking a back seat here, I don't think is right from even an educator standpoint. You're teaching our kids, and obviously you're teaching the Constitution is part of what you guys do here, and the fact that we're taking a back seat to this and not fighting something that's being done without checks and balances, I don't think is right. I mean, us taking that back seat isn't setting the right tone and not doing the right thing in the eyes of the people nor the children.
Well, here's where I disagree with you. We're not taking a back seat because the lawsuit's already been filed,
Right.
and it's with the state. So based on the merits of the law, they're going to determine whether or not the Department of Health or what the governor could issue to the Department of Health. So once that decision comes back, it's going to affect all the districts.
I understand that.
So we're really not taking a back seat. So the lawsuit's already been filed, so it's going to be based on the merits of the law.
I understand that, but obviously there's more pressure in numbers.
Well, I believe it's on the letter of the law, so it's going to be tried in the case. So I don't think it's more piling on. I think it should be fact-based decisions based on the law.
Well,
So
of course.
if the lawyers are going to defend it, and if they think that what's happening is wrong, that's going to play out in court, and then that decision is going to be rendered based on the facts of the case.
Oh, agreed.
Mr. Torrey, regarding the strength in numbers question, because that was on our mind too, and in conversation, what was pointed out was that versus the Board of Education. Oh, Brown versus the Board of Education, I was blank for a second, was one person,
Right.
one single person, which changed the face of education across the United States, because it brought segregation to an end, right, in schools. So the merits of the case is what won the case.
Of course. I mean, obviously in the rule of law, but I'm just thinking from public opinion, having that backing would be more beneficial than taking a side seat. If that's the case, that's okay. It is what it is. In lieu of jumping on the lawsuit, would the board consider writing a letter supporting the case and send it along so they can include it in? What harm is that?
Well, that's,
If a party's not, if someone's not a party to an action, letters, court endorses, it's not part of the record. But we can take a look at that.
yeah, I'll look into that.
All right, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Torek. Okay. Any other questions for the Board of Education?
Hi, everyone. My name is Denise Nash. I just, as a taxpayer, want to say that I think that is a huge amount of money, and I believe that amount of money can be used in other things that can better impact our children. So I just want to make it known that there is another side to that case, and not everybody is interested in that lawsuit. I am one of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Nash. Okay. Any other questions for the Board of Education? All right. Okay. Oh, back.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Linda Hampson, 37 North Ocean. I agree with Mrs.
No,
Nash.
I'm sorry, you
I'm
just-
sorry,
back
I
there.
agree with Mrs. Nash. I don't agree with we are a small district, and to spend $35,000 after we're just getting into the 21st century with technology, I think would be a mistake for the district. And also, I know that there's been some changes with the financial aspect. I knew there was a new accountant or something that's coming on. Are we getting ready for budget season, which is coming up soon? Have we stabilized the person in that position to come up with setting up the budget, showing us previous to current expenses? So when we have the budget meeting starting January, February, we're ready and we, as a district, know where our money's being spent?
Yeah, we have an assistant superintendent for business who's quite capable, and so we'll be proceeding with creating a budget in a typical process.
Okay.
We have an interim assistant superintendent for business who's quite capable, and we will be proceeding with the budget development process in our typical fashion. It's a personnel matter that can't be discussed.
Okay. Any other questions?
Who handles setting up the documentation for any of the COVID relief funds that we've received as a district? Who's responsible for generating those applications?
Well, it goes through our business department.
Right? So it's
We
business
work,
department?
we're business department, my office, we collaborate on it.
Well, I would assume it's before you. I mean, all these acts pretty much rolled through.
Well,
before
no,
you.
some of those things were proposed, but for one of the grants, the deadline is approaching pretty closely, so I've
Oh, right,
been,
the ARP,
yeah, I've been part of it.
yeah, okay. And the district's receiving how much for that? For the
Mr.
last
Barrow,
round?
do you know-
For the art,
Yeah,
it's $2.5 million.
okay. And then on the prior one, that was approximately 2.5 as well, right?
It was 2.3 for the ESSER, and the gear was about 280,000, so it's about 2.5.
For CARES was 280,
283.
283? Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
The timeline is-
Yeah, I answered it, yes.
So, I mean, just go on top of that, so CARES and Crystal, we already received, correct?
No.
No, you haven't received any of it yet?
The state is releasing portions at a time once the applications are approved. And the first application that was put in is to reimburse a large portion of it is to reimburse expenditures that were incurred last year.
So nothing yet as of this year for round
I'm sorry.
two. Nothing yet this year for round two.
The round two, the ARP, ESSER two, is due September 30th. I'm sorry. We were just finalizing.
Now, on top of that then, I mean, for ARP, wasn't all that, through that application, wasn't public comment supposed to be had before that money was applied for? About what the money was going to be used for?
I believe that took place.
It took place last spring.
Former
Yeah, we did.
superintendent.
There was she made a
The whole
presentation.
presentation, Dr. Semmel did,
For ARP?
for all of the funds that they were applying for.
Yeah, ARP only started at the beginning of this year. Press solicitation.
Can you clarify the two different,
I'm sorry.
can you clarify for them the two different timelines?
So they were all originally due August 31st.
Yes, I understand that. CARES was the first, that was the first round, that was came out right away. Then Cresta was last year. ARP was the beginning of this year.
Well, ARP is part of the CRISA.
Right.
It's confusing. So there's three portions of it, of which the former superintendent disclosed a plan. It's listed on the district's website.
Right, that's only 2.3.
That was $2.5 million.
I'm
And
sorry?
then it
That
was
was
2.5.
2.5.
2.5?
Mhm. Between the two. So it's split into three. I'm sorry. I can't see you. I keep
Yeah, it's all
it up. It's split into three pieces essentially.
Right.
And the former superintendent created a plan for those pieces.
So so it changed each time. Now, with that plan, it has to be new items added to it. You couldn't just have a plan, there was more revenue coming in from that aid, then the plan would have to adjust, correct?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean by more revenue.
So originally, you didn't apply for the $5 million all the time.
No, because they're different applications.
Correct.
There are three different
Right,
applications.
and then each application is applied for differently. Now, as that dollar value changes, you have to adjust your proposal.
Yes, and the state put out the final revisions in the summer of the third component of it, and that's the one that we're finalizing now.
Yeah, that's going to go with it.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right.
Hi, I'm Scott Brown. I just wanted to reiterate that anything that we've asked about is not in regards to the people who scared children, right? We just want medical freedom for our children and me to make the medical decisions for my child. So just wanted to reiterate that. We're not asking to snatch masks off your guys' faces.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? All right, we're going to move on to our reports and correspondence. Universal Pre-K, Dr. O'Hara?
Just to say that, just to reiterate what we said at the last meeting, we're going to have UPK starting here by the second semester. It will take place in Wing. We have Scope providing the UPK program for 53 students. And our target is to have registration and a lottery completed before the end of October, maybe middle of November.
Great, thank you. Our PTA updates, Ms. Vergaggi?
Yep, I have
Thank you.
those. I have a lot of things to go over. So, Wayne PTA, they have a pizza kit fundraiser that starts on Monday with the new place in town called the Pizzeria. It's $10 each, and they can order it online. And there'll be more information posted on Monday on the Wayne PTA Facebook page. There's also going to be a YouTube video of Dr. Giacchetto making pizza. There's a book fair in progress till Thursday. Their next meeting is October 6th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. And Wing won the New York State PTA Savvy membership goal for hitting 100% of their membership goal already. Comac Road, I think Colleen Balsamo, you're here today, right? Thank you for being here. Meadow Farm fundraiser will be starting to raise funds for arts and education programs. They have an ongoing spiritware fundraising at islipspiritware.com. Their next meeting is 10/7, joint with SEPTA. For Sherwood, Christy, you're here, Christy Evans. Spiritware site has been launched. Flyers will be going home with a QR code. There's also a link on the Maud Sherwood PTA Facebook page. Pizza with a Purpose fundraisers tomorrow, 9:30 at Angela's Pizza. Mention Sherwood and a percentage comes back to the PTA. It's good for takeout or dine-in. They have a Coils fundraiser on 10/13 from 4 to 7 with surprise Sherwood staff serving up ice cream. Book fair 10/14 to 10/15. An evening event on 10/14 for the book fair. Kid stuff booklets are on sale beginning 10/14. They have a trunk or treat outdoor family event on 10/28 from 6 to 8 p.m. Their fall fundraiser for Miss Chocolate begins on 1/18. And let's see, they won the New York State Early Bird Membership Award for hitting 60% of their membership goal. And since they reported that, they've hit the 100% of their membership goal, and they're awaiting word that they too received the Savvy Membership Award from New York State. Islip Middle School, Nicole, I'm going to say your name wrong. That's it. Spiritware fundraiser on 10/30. PTA membership is ongoing, and if you haven't signed up already, please do. Their first meeting's on 10/4. Okay, for SEPTA, they have an outdoor Halloween movie night at Sherwood this Friday night, 10/1. The movie is Hocus Pocus and will be shown. Hocus Pocus will be shown. This is available for all students. Next meeting, 10/7, joint with Crest. And then I have the high school. A lot going on at the high school. I actually attended their PTA meeting on 9/27 with Mr. Austin and Mr. Clarine. Let's see, membership is growing. They're up to 70 parent members, 15 teachers, 23 students. They reminded everyone in order for a student to be eligible for the PTA scholarship, both parents and students must be members. They did a back-to-school gift to the staff. A teacher survival kit was presented as well as breakfast. A teacher representative was announced for the PTA. Thank you to Mr. Orico. Plan sale profit sales were discussed, and they were really happy with the outcome. Mr. LaRochester did a principal's update and some upcoming events. Let's see. He was planning a parent academy, first one on 10/18, college financials. Talked about the performance of Little Shop of Horrors, 10/14 to 10/17. Let's see what else. On 10/22, there's the Hall of Fame inductions. 10/23 is Homecoming Islip versus Sayville, homecoming parade, and a small outdoor carnival. And let's see, upcoming events, Red Ribbon Week, 10/23 to 10/31. Drug-free looks good on me. Next meeting, 11/8. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Austin because he wants to put in a plug for his post-prom
My
events.
Fairly shameless plug for post-prom. We didn't have the in-person Meet the Teacher night, so we, again, didn't get our mailing list up. So any senior parent or any parent that wants to be involved with the post-prom this year, just send us your email to islipHSpostprom@gmail.com. And we'll get you on the mailing list, and you'll know everything that's going on, and you can help out as much as you can, or much as we can get out of people. There is no theme picked yet. We're starting to work on fundraisers. We will be at the Islip Fire Department Street Fair on 10/18. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Austin. Thank you, Mr. Gagnon, for reporting on that. Okay, that's going to move us to our dates to remember. School will be closed on November 11th for Columbus Day. Our next Board of Education meeting will be on October 12th, 6:30 exact, with the public session starting at 7:30 here in the middle school auditorium, and our next Board of Ed meeting will be on October 27th. Thank you, folks, for attending the Board of Education meeting. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
That is Mr. Austin. Can I get a second?
Second.
Mr. Buell, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone, and get home safe.